The Sheriff of Oakland County, Sherif Bouchard, and we're gonna have a little interview here, asking him questions about different technologies. Okay, Sheriff. First question. Let's see, what were your feelings on today's debate?
It was good. Both sides presented well, articulated their points, and it was informative. And I think most people enjoyed that.
So, did you have a side preference in this debate?
Well, I tend to believe that if you promulgate two different standards, so that it's only on either the developing or only on the developed, that you'll never get a solution because one or the other won't implement. So I really think there has to be an agreement that is across the board, that's attainable and that is reasonable. But by doing it across the board with everybody, you're actually probably going to get a greater cumulative impact.
Okay, let's implementing in the Sheriff's Department.
Well, we've done a number of things. You know, one of the big things that in terms of energy consumption is having motion-sensitive actuators, so that when you come in a room, it turns on the lights when you leave, and they go out after a period of time. We have those throughout our new building, and we're going through our building and updating the efficiency ratings of some of the equipment. We're doing more of those things in-house with more efficient equipment, laundry, etc. So, you know, we're trying to undertake a variety of those kinds of steps every day. What else can we do?
Right. Now, what about like things like the actual law enforcement, like the jails? And I've understand that there's things like green bullets now. Are any of these things going to be considered in the future?
Well, green bullets would typically apply more to an outdoor setting. When we're in an indoor range, we have a collector that actually gathers it up, and then it's recyclable. In terms of some of the other things, I did change over my fleet operations and bought more fuel-efficient cars for a variety of reasons. Not only is it better for the environment, but it's better for my gas mileage, which saves taxpayers in the end, which is important. So I did that. We saved $400,000 a year just by doing that, and received a national award for implementing that change. So, you know, we're constantly looking through the different aspects of our operation and work, and we do more.
Now, these new technologies are evolving now. Will that change law enforcement in the future in any way, or will it be the same?
Well, no, I think everything will change in time as long as the technology is proven and adaptable for that environment. You know, I mean, for example, you know, tasers are now on the scene. They're a less than lethal alternative to be utilized in situations where before, you know, sometimes people got very, very hurt, and now, you know, we have that, and that's reusable, it's rechargeable, and redeployable compared to some of the other things.
Okay, in your opinion, was the fight against like climate change and the whole green movement, do you believe that can be done on like just a day-by-day basis by the individual person?
Well, I think, you know, everybody has the ability to make, you know, incremental impact. So, I mean, if you do a couple things and everybody takes that same approach and they do a couple things, it adds up pretty darn fast.
Now, what are some of the ecological concerns for Oakland County as a whole? I'm not sure if you would know anything about that.
Well, you know, a lot of Oakland County has been working for years to clean up the Rouge and its tributaries, and it's made great strides. In fact, they said more recently they saw a beaver in one of the areas, which is a big signal that it's becoming much more healthy in the ecosystem there. There's a variety of things that have been talked about in terms of you know, how we dispose of our waste in the state of Michigan. When I was in the state Senate, I wrote legislation that defined what's recyclable. People want, I think, to do the right thing for the environment, but sometimes they're tricked because people may say, well, this is recyclable, but it wasn't defined. Does that mean it's going to recycle under normal breakdown conditions in 100 years, or 10 years, or 2 years? What does recyclable mean? There was no definitional standard, so people would buy something, even be willing to pay more, thinking they were helping the environment, but it was yet defined, and so they really might be buying somebody's hoax. You know, I was not a fan of it. I wrote legislation to ban deep well injection. I don't think it's a good idea to put very hazardous waste below, you know, even though it's below rocks that are, by many accounts, believed not to be a danger. I think when you've got a state that's got some of the greatest amount of fresh water in the whole world, any risk is too big a risk. So, you know, there are a variety of things that we always have to be aware of not only in Oakland County, but in the state of Michigan.
And finally, would you say that you and your colleagues are like concerned and very willful to help and work with this new green movement that's going on?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's our Earth too, and our kids and our grandkids will be the recipients of the work we do or we don't do.
Thank you, Sheriff. And once again, the Sheriff of Oakland County, Sherif Bouchard, brother of Scred. Thank you very much for showing up.
Sure.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you.